Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Channel. I don't know about you, but recently, like I would say the past 2 to 3 months, I've been getting ads, like ads, I was about to say commercials, but I've been getting ads on like Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, like basically almost every social media platform that I have. I've been getting ads for an app called Speechify. If you don't know what Speechify it is essentially a tool you can use, take pictures of the books you're reading, the pages, and then it'll read it to you, and you can choose the voices, and yeah, that's essentially it. And apparently it's free. In my opinion, they are, one, marketing in the wrong way, especially if they're trying to get to readers in general, and two, on the whole, I just think they're marketing to the wrong group of people. So watch some of their ads. I did go to their Instagram, so just watch some of their ads, some of their videos promoting Speechify.
Men I may not know, but shoes, I know. I have this little problem. Expensive footwear. I spent $40,000 on shoes, and I have no place to live?
Listen to anything. Click the link now to try Speechify.
I was today years old when I learned this. If you hate reading, just do this instead. Speechify literally reads out anything to you for free.
The result, this quiet book, has been in print for 40 years and has...
I can increase the speed. I can pick from a variety of really high-quality voices. I'm reading 3 times faster, and it makes my life so much easier when I'm having a hard time focusing. I can listen to the text, and it will read it to me at the same time.
This girl trying to finish our assigned reading, and I'm about to change her life. Excuse me, what are you doing?
Reading.
Did you finish the chapter yet?
No.
Why don't you use Speechify?
What's Speechify?
I'm about to change your life. All you need to do is take a picture and then click play, and then it reads to you.
Inference time. It is also showing the ability to think about problems the way
I'm gonna go ask this guy how long it takes him to read a book. Hi, excuse me. How long does it take you to normally read a book?
A week or something.
Oh, that's disappointing. This guy here looks super smart.
A whole book? Probably a couple of years.
A couple of years?
So, as you saw, they are really trying hard to reach out to readers, and like it seems like they start out by saying like, oh, she's reading, doing the assigned reading, let me change her life. That was so cheesy, first of all. But I think that line, or like that first half of the line, assigned reading, that was starting to go in the right direction. Like, at the end of the day, I think they're marketing to the wrong crowd, like I said, because with all of the audiobook platforms that there are out there, with all of the resources that we have for audiobooks, at the end of the day, we do not need another app, even if it's free. At the end of the day, we don't need another app that'll just read any book, because we have audiobooks for that. And most people, if they're able to, most people will have an audiobook subscription of some sort, like through Audible, or they'll refer to Libby, or they'll refer to another app where they can easily access said audiobooks. So at the end of the day, they're just marketing to the wrong people and just not going about it in the right way. Because in some of the ads, it's like, oh, you're only reading 1 book in 3 weeks. Like, what's the issue with reading a single book in 3 weeks? What's the issue there? What's the issue of reading a book in 1 month? It's like, first off, stop shaming people for the amount of time they take to read a book. First up, just stop with that. Stop there. Second off, I think if Speechify were to focus on school books, focus on assigned reading, like I said, that beginning part of that one line where it's like, she's doing an assigned reading. Focus on books that might not be as accessible in other audiobook, other ebook, other digital book platforms. If you think of like textbooks, if you think of older books that might not necessarily have an ebook version or an audiobook version. Like there's some really old books, like if you're in a literary class, especially at the college level, if you're in a literary class or a history class, where you have to take a look at older texts, like that's what you want to gear towards. And you want to gear towards high schoolers and maybe even like middle school to junior high, where they have textbooks and maybe scanning an ISBN, and then that way they can have their textbooks read to them. So at the end of the day, they're marketing to the wrong people, and they're marketing in the wrong way. Like I said, they need to stop shaming people for the amount of time they take to read a book, because so many of us are trying to, for lack of a better word, de-influence that kind of thinking of, oh, we need to be reading X amount of books in a certain amount of time. We need to be able to read 100 books or over 100 books per year. There are quite a few of us who are trying to de-influence that way of thinking, who are actively trying to be like, yo, you do not need to be reading a book a day. You don't need to be reading over 100 books per year. You don't need to be reading a certain amount each day, each week, each month, each year. Like, and Speechify is actively going against that. And it just annoys, like, some of the ads that I was watching, like, the ones that I showed were not the only ones that I had seen. But so many of them are like, oh, you only read one book in 3 weeks. You can only finish a book in 3 weeks. Or, oh, you only finish a book in a year. Like, why, like I said, why are we shaming reading habits? Like, if you want people to use your app, stop shaming people for their reading habits. And yes, I do think some of their features are unique and useful, like being able to choose different voices and having celebrity voices. I do think some of those are useful and unique. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of their marketing is doing, it's not doing a lot of harm, but it's doing, I think, geez, I just said that twice. I think it's doing more harm than they're intending. Not necessarily that it's doing more harm than good, but it's doing more harm than they're intending. With, like I've said quite a few times now, them shaming people's reading habits and not marketing to the right people. Like I said, they need to be marketing people in school. They need to be marketing people taking classes who have to read books that are not necessarily going to be in an audiobook form. Textbooks. Or, like I said, books that are not going to be readily available in a digital format. So being able to scan a barcode and then being able to identify that and then read the book for them. So yeah, like it, I don't know, like it kind of bothers me because I feel like as a whole, like the bookish community is really getting to a point where there is some pushback on how many books you're supposed to read in a certain time frame. There is starting to be some pushback to that, and then Speechify comes up with like, oh, you only read, I know I keep going back to this, but it's like, if you think about it, it's like you're not marketing in the right way. Not only are you not marketing to the right people, but you're not marketing the right way. If I reviews, I'm just gonna look up Speechify's reviews really quickly. I have found already. This is from a year ago, so this is gonna be fun. So this original Reddit poster under the thread r//audiobooks. This person says, Speechify, the nightmare I wasted my money on, a cautionary tale. Which makes me kind of chuckle a little bit. So it says, hey Reddit fam, gather around for a cautionary tale about a text-to-speech tool that left me scratching my head. So I splurged on the supposedly top-notch AI-generated text-to-speech option for academic texts. Okay. Thinking it would be a game changer. Spoiler alert, it's not. Every footnote, reference, you name it, gets read aloud, making it as unnatural as a robot doing the cha-cha. So that's the thing. That's another thing. Where it's like being able to... The thing with these text-to-speech reader tools is that there needs to be some distinguishing, especially for academic texts and for textbooks, where if there is like a footnote of some sort or a side note, it needs to be properly placed within the reading. So there needs to be some sort of configuration. Again, I'm not super technical, but there needs to be some sort of configuration so that it can say like you read all of one chapter and then you read all of the little side notes, but mentioning what page or what section within that chapter it's from. So there needs to be like some distinguishing between the main part of the text or the textbook and any footnotes or side notes. Okay. So, but wait, there's more. I had to refresh the text every few minutes, even with a rock-solid Wi-Fi connection at home. Multitasking dream? Nah, this tool is not about that life. Ooh. That's something else that they promote a lot, where it's like, oh, like one of the things that I see a lot is like, oh, how do you read so much? The person has headphones on and is like doing 5 other books. It's like, there's no way you're listening to one book and reading 5 other books at the same time. I know it's for like the aesthetic and the look of it all, but like, make it more realistic. And let's talk about the Kindle integration. Ooh, Kindle integration. It betches the text format jumping around like a caffeinated rabbit on speed. And here's the kicker. When I tried to bail and get a refund, they hit me with the 7-day rule. Apparently, I needed to be a speed demon and uncovered the flaws within that short trial window. Again, like, I honestly think that trial windows for things like this need to be a month. There are certain things where like trial windows can be shorter. If you look at like Duolingo, like that trial window can be a short amount of time because usually you're using it a little bit more regularly, like on a daily basis, if not more multiple times a day. So trial periods for an app like Speechify need to be longer, I think, for you to really just work it out and see if you like it. And I would say that for like any audiobook or audiobook platform, book platform, where you can buy or borrow, well, buy books through that platform, the trial window needs to be longer because sometimes a 7-day period is not really enough time to get into the groove of the book, especially if you take longer than 7 days to read a book, no matter what the reasonings are. So let's see, where was I then? Okay, apparently I needed to be a speed demon and uncover the flaws within the short trial window. But trust me, the struggles were real, and this product ain't worth the pricey sum I dropped on it. Let's see, how much is Speechify? So Speechify's premium plan costs around $11.58 per month when billed annually, which translates to about $139 per year. So it's not a terrible price, but I think with like again, they may have worked out these flaws between this post and now when I'm posting about this, but considering, anyway. Ooh. Anyway, so Bottom line, if you're thinking about diving into this text-to-speech adventure, save your dollars and go hang out with Siri or whatever TTS is integrated on your device, because it works, if not better, just the same without the bugs. Update to forgot to mention, even if you pay the yearly fee, that, by the way, is advertised as monthly installments, you have a limit of 150k words for the premium voices, which is not mentioned anywhere on their platform. That's deceptive. Also, their customer service sucks. No help at all. Update, here's a link to the Better Business Bureau, full of reviews from deceived customers just like me. Don't subscribe to Speechify. Update 2, after a year, they didn't charge me again. But I am getting spam to renew my subscription. They finally put a contact number. So if you're deceived... Interesting. So I will link this Reddit thread down below in the description. But let's see what else. One person recommends Microsoft Edge browser's read aloud feature on PC and mobile. Also, an Android app called Eevee that can narrate EPUBs and documents using local TTS without pay, or use AI voices with a subscription. Edit, Eevee uses Amazon Polly, which I have no experience with. That one sounds similar to Microsoft Edge. Also, Microsoft Word has that read aloud feature, so that's also an option. Okay, so another commenter said that they tried the free trial of Speechify, which was longer than the original poster's OPs. They found it to be far superior, or inferior, excuse me. The TTS that is integrated into Edge is superior to Speechify. Let's see. What else did... Okay, 1 second. So, just... Like, I was doing research into this, but I decided to do spur of the moment research with this video as well. So, let's see. Got that. What are the disadvantages? Okay. One of the main disadvantages for... So, one question that's also asked is, what are the disadvantages of Speechify. So, let's see. There's a lack of human narration. It's AI. Again, there's better human narration in most of the audiobook platforms, because audiobook narrators are paid to do that and paid to make it sound human. Like, even voice actors... Why am I blanking on her name? Like Auntie Tawny, who does a lot of voiceover works. Tawny Plattis, like, she does a lot of voiceover works, and she talks about how voice actors change their voices depending on the scenario, and it sounds better than AI, because it's a human behind it and not AI. So, although AI voices provided by Speeches are of high quality and offer a variety of accents, they lack the emotional nuances and expressiveness of a human narrator. In this person's experience, while listening to novels or any text that requires emotional interpretation, AI voices will fail to convey that, and that might be a downside, especially if you're trying to promote to readers. Like, an AI reader is not the way to go when you're trying to pitch this kind of an app to readers and not just students. Okay, so the cost for premium features, you know, sort of went over that. It's promoted as realistic, but apparently it's not as realistic. So let's see. Okay, so another Reddit thread. Okay. So this one I'll link down below. Someone was asking, has anyone used TTS, i.e. Speechify, Voice Stream, Siri style readers? What was your favorite and least favorite thing? This one commenter, the top commenter, says, beware of Speechify. I signed up for the free trial on the 16th, and on the 19th they charged me for a full year. They advertised $7.99 per month. It's close to $12. So, and it's kind of promoted on their website that they charge monthly as well, or that's an option, but a lot of people seem to get charged for the full year. Let's see, they sneak it into the agreement you sign when you get the free trial. Also, the app itself is very glitchy in this person's experience. I wasn't even going to pay for the first month. This person's saying it's not worth it. This happened to another person. 3 people. Another person's biggest issue with them is that everything seems to be completely different from what they advertise, including the pricing and trials and general uses and accessibility. Let's see some more replies. Yeah, so Speechify is not the way to go from the sounds of it. So this turned into a little bit more than what I was expecting it to turn into. But what I would say is that 1, Speechify is marketing to the wrong people, and 2, they really need to figure out their business practices, because one person even commented that they have some unethical business practices, especially considering that so many people were charged when they were still during the free trial, and they don't give monthly as an option, and that their yearly is kind of pricey for the premium when they have so many glitches. So at this point, I don't think I'd recommend Speechify, despite how great their advertising might seem, you know? And like I said at the beginning of this video, there are so many other platforms that you can use for books specifically. As someone who studied history in college, and I totally understand the want and the need to find more accessible ways to read these books, to get access to certain texts. But if Speechify is going to go down that road, they really need to work through the bugs. So at this point, I don't think I recommend Speechify. I wasn't even going to recommend it at the beginning, but reading some of these Reddits, it doesn't sound worth it, in my opinion. So thank you all for watching. If you've used Speechify, let me know what your thoughts were down below in the comments, because at this point I'm not going to use it. There's things like Libra FM, like Script, like Libby, like Audible, even though Amazon is not the best thing. Sometimes Amazon and Audible is the best way you can go. But there are so many different audiobook platforms, like the ones I mentioned, like Hoopla, and there are so many other. Let's see. I'm gonna actually look this up real quickly. Audiobook ebook apps. So, Audible, Libby, Hoopla, LibriVox. Okay, an app that offers free audiobooks in the public domain. Okay, so Google Play Books, audiobooks.com. Let's see. Chirp Audiobooks. I've heard good things about Chirp Audiobooks. There's Spotify, Apple Books, Loyal Books. There's so many other good ones out there. Free and not. But, like, even the ones where you need to have a subscription, like, they're reasonable. And they have, like, different levels as well. Like, even Book of the Month has an audiobook option, even though I just kind of griped about that in my last video. Like, even Book of the Month has an audiobook option. So, there are other options for you other than Speechify. Okay, like I said, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you all in my next video.